I tried running the game in widescreen, it feels so weird. Even though it does actually give more screen real estate. It's just, I think it interferes with like the sensitivity. At least I felt like I had to move the mouse further or something. Or it just felt off, like aiming which direction I'm running in. And it also has some jankiness with like certain cutscenes where you're supposed to just be, like when you enter the cliff and you're supposed to just be looking at the amulet. When you run that in widescreen, you can actually see Francis in the picture, and I don't think you're supposed to be able to see him in that cutscene. So this cutscene here, okay, we can actually see a little bit of Francis. That actually also looks kind of weird. But in widescreen, you can see all of Francis there. And some cutscenes you can also see out of bounds when you play in widescreen. Okay, I don't know why I did that jump like that. Yeah, I love to have like a bit of real estate for my splits. But generally I just try to play whatever the game was made for. Oops. I'm gonna skip a split there because I was too slow. I'm moving the extra amulet. Guess I know what I'm doing after this stream. And then of course I missed the shot. But I imagine you're also like already there in your optimization of the game, that like getting trolled by the monkeys is already kind of a reset. Yes, you do get to that point. This jump because it's a little tricky to back up, in my opinion. At least I got that jump first try. Run is nothing special, but continual. That was a good mine entrance. to the balcony up there, where there's a checkpoint. Oh, but when I jump off the edge there, I do have to be careful not to avoid dying, because that happened earlier today, that I tried to reset my health total here, and instead I just landed on a platform. Probably I need to jump like off and to the left, if that's where I want to do it anyway, which I imagine it is. Yeah, that worked out fine. Yeah, so like the dialog box that comes up when you pick up the seal, that is much harder to do like in the first few frames, because you're like coming straight from being somewhere else on the keyboard and it's not just during a cutscene. Still fun to try and do it as fast as possible. What? I really need to get back into nailing that shot a little more, because it's not that hard. You just need to get the right muscle memory. No, not that thing. Just let me land on the thing. Doing it this way saves a bit of time because you skip a cutscene, but it's, if you fail it like that, then it doesn't really save any time in the end. Unfortunately, it seems very unlikely that there's going to be a way to get through that gate before you've activated that vanilla spawns there. So until you've met her in the jungle, she won't even spawn there. But if you could clip into the fort, maybe you wouldn't have to talk to her in the jungle for this category, which would be interesting. Okay, can I please get the camera inside? Thank you. I think it is best to go for these guys first, because there's a bigger chance that the other ones will have bunched up while doing that. Okay. trying to be too fancy here. I just want to hit them both at the same time. Okay, maybe it's working out. Kind of, a little bit. I'm still not worth it. Where's the other guy there? Sniper. I wasn't sure that was going to hit. What a really long ending animation there for my combo. Where is that guy? Alright. Well, I'm actually in a great position now because I'm quite close to the door, I believe. No. I thought I was closer to the door. That is probably something to consider as well, to try and end off by killing one of the guys that's closer to the door. Because I don't think the cutscene with Vanilla reading the document actually moves you. I seem to remember still being up on one of the top platforms. But it may be that it moves you if you're like a certain distance away. So the biggest issue with clipping into that gate is that there aren't any ledges nearby that you can grab onto, so there's no like possibility for tapping. There's only really like running at the gate. And like another strat that works in a lot of games is holding print screen, but that doesn't really do anything. Okay, a little dodgy, but make it work. No, we will not make that work. Hopefully that works. Yeah, okay. At least we didn't spawn like back on the ground level. That would have been quite awkward. There's also the possibility that you might be able to clip into the through the exit, so like the place right here to the left. I mean, I don't see how, but it could be possible. Because the path is blocked by some blocks you have to push down from the other side, basically to create that shortcut. This run is definitely nothing special. A little silly there. You can skip one of those platforms, but you want to skip the first one, not the second one. And it's also very difficult to be quite precise. Wait, I forgot to transform. Okay, let's just do this my normal way. I do need to remember to time that section. That escape press is very hard to time frame perfect since there isn't really any camera movement, so you just need to like sense it from how long the cutscene has been on for. Yeah, so dropping down there is definitely the play. I'm just going to be super careful here. Don't want to die again. Now let's see if we can make them all group up again. Okay, so now I got a second spawn. I guess maybe that happens once you've killed 2 of them. And I was just, last run I was able to kill all 3 at once, and that actually avoided this final guy spawning. It's gonna make for a very annoying segment that you can sometimes save time on, but mostly not. Alright, tapping time. Is that gonna work? Just about. Wait, no. Wait, yes. But vanilla stuck in a barrel. Clip me into the thing, please. That took ages. I wish there was like a more consistent way to get the camera to move inside. But all we have for now is like whacking the sword and hoping it works. Okay, we've made up a bit of time, definitely. can't grab onto that side of the thing. That's good to remember. No! Guess it's not the worst thing that can happen in a run. Just feels really bad. And I should still save time in the split, since it was quite garbage in the run I'm comparing to. Yeah, so I'm still also ahead of my PB, but not by a lot. And that did have a great boss fight. So. Get out of the way! Oh, it's a little miserable to get that hang off. Descent. Oh, apart from that part. I almost pressed 0 again, that's insane. No, not new game. That was a fast boss though. Could still be a chance. Maybe I don't even have to run backwards there. Maybe I could just like turn around and press shift. Not actually even sure. Okay, last thing I can fail now. Well, should be careful to say that. There we go. 2807.